Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is Professor Diaz, and today I wanted to talk about nested if statements. Hang on, fixing my headphones again. All right, nested if statements. And this is if statements within if statements, and if you so please, within if statements within if statements, however deep you want to go. Of course, there are more efficient ways to do things than to nest eternally like that, but we'll discuss that later on. So first, let's get the user input. So we'll say user temp for temperature, and we'll set that equal to int input, enter the temperature. And we want to get the wind, so we'll say user wind speed, and we'll set that equal to int input, enter the wind speed. Okay, so now we're getting our user input. I don't know how to turn this off. It always puts like a little text, like a little thing over what I'm trying to show you guys. It's very annoying. Of course, I don't use REPL. Normally, I use PyCharm, and it doesn't do that. I do have a video about how to install PyCharm. If you're interested in that, it should be in week 1. Okay, so we want to start our conditional statement. So if user temp is greater than or equal to 90 degrees. Oof, that's going to be hot, isn't it? And if user wind speed is greater than or equal to 20, then we're going to print. I'll be able to write the word print one day. Print. It is hot and windy. Oh, looks like something happened here. Indented block. Let me double check. So I press backspace, enter. No, should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to try to run this. Enter the temperature. So let's say the temperature is 90 and the wind speed is 20. And user wind, I misspelled it. User wind, name, the user wind speed is not defined. Did you mean user wind speed? I can't see the, oh yeah, I have like a little capitalization where I don't need it. Okay. I'll just change it to this. So yeah, I misspelled it, and so I got an error. Let me try again. 90, 20. It is hot and windy. So what happened, if I move this over, what happened was we got our user temperature, we stored it and converted it to an integer. We got our user wind speed and stored it into this variable user wind speed as an integer. And then we evaluated if the user temp is greater than or equal to 90. In our case, it is. Okay, yes. So then it moves on to the next conditional statement underneath. Whatever's indented, that's what's going to run. So this condition was true, so this is indented, so this is what's coming up next. If user wind speed is greater than or equal to 20, and we put 20 exactly, the code that's indented underneath that will run. So notice that the indentations go further and further in. That is part of the punctuation, it's part of the syntax. So what happens when the user temperature is over 90 and the user wind speed is greater than or equal to 20, we say that it is hot and windy. Well, what if it's not so windy? Well, we'll say if user wind speed is greater than or equal to 10, print it is hot and breezy. It is hot and breezy right now, actually. I'm recording this in the summertime. So I'm really feeling it. I'm really feeling the truth in this code right now. Okay, so then we're going to evaluate elif, the user when speed is greater than or equal to 10. Then we're going to run that code instead. And you should also notice that I put the larger number first and then the smaller number. That's on purpose because if we put the smaller number on the top and the larger number on the bottom, then we'll actually never get to the next one. We won't have the correct effect. So please keep in mind that what you put and what order you put it in is going to matter. So next, we're going to check, we're going to have an elif. So I didn't backspace just one time. I backspaced 2 times because I want to meet this first if statement. And I want to write elif user temp is greater than or equal to 80. We're going to call this warm. I think for some people it's hot, but I think it's warm. So if the user min speed is greater than or equal to 20, then it is warm and windy. Okay, and likewise, just to get the extra practice, we're going to press enter and backspace and say elif user wind speed is greater than or equal to 10. Oh, I try to put spaces in between each of the words that I use in my statements because it adds to the readability. You don't put a space here though, so keep these together. Greater than or equal sign is together. Okay, and then I'm going to put the colon at the end. Print. It is warm and breezy. And that is quite nice for it to be warm and breezy. Okay. We're going to create one more. We're going to use the else statement. So you have these nested if statements. And now finally, we're going to create an else statement. Else, we're going to print, let's say, what do we want to say? It's not too hot today. Yeah, let's say that. It's not too hot today. So if it's not over 90 degrees and the user wind speed is greater than or equal to 20, if or greater than or equal to 10, these all execute top to bottom. And then if none of these conditions are met, it's just going to print it's not too hot today. And then at the very end, we're going to print goodbye. And this is not within any of the statements. This is the rest of the code. This is all the way to the left of the IDE. And so this code should also run. So now we can test it. Enter the temperature. I want to say 40 if it will let me type in here. And the wind speed is 10. It's not too hot today. Goodbye. Because this condition wasn't met, and then it goes to the next condition. This condition wasn't met, and then that goes to the else statement. So again, this condition wasn't met, so this code down here doesn't run. This condition, then it evaluates here, is this condition correct? It's not. So this code down here does not run. It doesn't go there. Then else. So if we get all the way down to else and we're questioning that, well, then it's going to run the code underneath. Okay, and then no matter what, print goodbye is going to run because it's not part of the selection structure. It's not conditional. It just prints goodbye. That's part of the code. So this is how to do a nested if statement. This isn't very efficient, and I'll show you better ways to do this. But this is still going to be super useful. You can also evaluate text. So I'm going to get rid of all of this, and I'm going to say user input equals, and then this time we want it to be a string, so we're not going to convert it. We're just going to say input enter the, let's see, how do we want to, okay, enter your mood in all lowercase as a single word. So we have to be very specific when it comes to inputting text, because even slight variation will cause it not to work, and whether or not you intend for it to work. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm going to say if user input is, and then we put quotation marks, and within those quotation marks, we're going to put a possibility. So there's a possibility that the user picks happy. And then we'll print, or we'll say, we'll print excellent. Now, if user input is sad, print not too good. Okay, and then I realized that we want to create a nested if statement. So not only are we going to get the mood, we're going to have to get something else. So we're going to get the mood, and then we'll also get somebody's temperature. Hang on a second, I'm going to check something really quick. Okay, that does not say temperature, it says weather. Okay, so we'll also get the weather. So user weather, and we'll set it equal to input. Enter the weather as all lowercase and as a single word. Okay, let me move this a little bit. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and add to this. I'm going to press enter. This is where things can get a little bit confusing when you're going back into your nested if statements, because notice how when I'm writing my if right here, so blah blah blah, whatever I write here, it's not going to. It makes it such that the code below it is now at the same level. It's not indented again, so you're going to have to decide what goes there. We're going to say if user input is happy, if user weather is sunny, we can print it's going to be a lovely day. That works. And then we're going to say elif user input is sad, if user weather is sunny, we're going to say at least there's sun. Okay, I hope that's not toxic or anything, but we'll say at least there's sun. So these are our nested conditional statements. Let's go ahead and try it out. I know this one's really, really short, but it's just to demonstrate that we can use strings. So I'm going to run it. Okay. Enter your mood in all lowercase as a single word. And my mood is happy. Ooh, I forgot to put the space after. Oh dear. Enter the weather as all lowercase and as a single word, and I'm going to say sunny. it's going to be a lovely day. So what happens is we get the input and then we check. Is the user input the text happy? Okay, it is in this case. So then we check if the user weather is sunny. So is the user weather the text sunny? It is. So then the code underneath gets printed. Um, if the user input was sad, then this code below would get executed. And I think that's everything for now. So, like I said, with text, you have to be really careful because you can have a user put a misspelling, or they can enter malicious code, or they can do all sorts of things if you allow for text input. So, just be mindful of that and be careful when you're using it. All right. So that's nested if statements. That's all we have for now. Please practice these. Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day.